Hi there.
Hi, Debrush.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. This chair I sit in requires a booster seat in order for my head to appear on the screen.
Like the old phone book.
Yeah,
Like, does anybody even know what a phone book was these days? But
yeah, we're getting to that, aren't we?
but some people had to sit on them.
Mhm. Yeah, that was a regular for family gatherings at our house. The great big thick yellow pages, there were so many little kids in my age and around that group. We had lots of rigged seats.
So y'all actually did that.
Oh yeah.
They just made us little people sit in a different room.
Oh, we did that too. We had the card table,
Yeah.
with the phone books on the seats around the card table,
Yeah.
or sometimes two card tables.
Okay. That was fun.
Uh-huh.
When people didn't want to hear what kids were talking about back in the
Yep.
old days.
Yep. Where have those days gone, right?
Yeah, I know. We know too much now.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm here in the Shields Carter room, because that's required to meet the emergency revisions of Open Meetings Act, and the air conditioner is working really well.
Oh, good.
So you're
Oh, too
cold?
well? Is it cold?
This is good. It'll keep me on my toes. I won't be sweating,
Okay.
but
All right.
it's cold enough that I'm kind of itchy.
So how much longer do you think we'll be Zooming? Any idea?
No, and we're just kind of calling it 1 month at a time. This month, because the executive order gets extended 30 days at a time. So as long as the executive order is extended, we can do it, but the board presidents have to make that call. And the last couple times, we've looked at just, there's high risk in the community, even though it's not like resulting in the same severe symptoms that other communities might be experiencing. It's the high risk of infection that keeps us.
Okay.
Do you?
I don't mind Zooming at all, so.
I mean, I think for a while we were thinking like this would help us get more participation, more inclusion, but I think that there are still barriers that, keeping people from being able to attend any meeting, no matter what format or what time.
Sure.
So we still have a lot of work to do in that, like fuller inclusion at meetings. So. Hello, Vicki Nicewander.
Hi, Vicki.
There, how are you? Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Glad
Very
to be
happy to
here.
see you.
I never think of Vicki Nicewander as a shy person. So my plan today is to put you on the spot really early on.
Go for it.
Okay, see? Right. This is great. Okay. We have so Dr. Robin, you have a quorum, but
All right.
Dr. Fisher's not on yet. We still have a couple minutes. So you just let me know what you want to do. Stephanie's here for roll call.
Well, maybe we should wait just a couple more minutes and make it officially 9 o'clock. I've got 8:58.
Okay. And here comes Dr. Fisher.
All right.
Yay.
Okay. Well, then let's get the meeting started. Stephanie, would you like to do the roll call, please?
Deb Rouge,
Sure.
Georgiana Schuster,
Here.
Kim Fisher,
Here.
Vicki Nicewander,
Here.
and Robin.
Here. Okay, everybody's got the Zoom instructions. We're all here. Can I hear a motion for approval of the agenda, please?
I'll motion to approve the agenda as presented. This is Deb.
And I will second that motion. This is Georgiana.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Stephanie, would you do the roll call, please?
Georgiana Schuster,
Here, yes.
Kim Fisher,
Yes.
Vicki Nicewander,
Yes.
Deb Rouge,
Yes.
and Robin.
Yes. Okay, any citizen input or public participation at this time? Okay, as always, if somebody presents themselves before the meeting is over, All they need to do is just identify themselves and we'll open up the agenda for them. And I'll just make some very brief comments. First, welcome, Vicky. I'm so glad that you were able to join our group, and I look forward to working with you and getting to know you a little bit better. Lynn's going to introduce you in just a minute. This is going to be probably a pretty straightforward and not too long meeting after we've had some very long meetings. Most of our heavy duty work for the spring has been done. So this is mostly informational. And then we will make a decision before the end of this meeting or at some point, whether we're going to have a meeting in August or whether we'll take a recess in August and give the staff a break and just read the materials that come to us so that we'll be ready to start working again in September. Those are my comments. Lynn?
Hi, I think I should keep these brief. I'd like to just say what I really like to do with y'all in July is just kind of wrap up what you've just done, which is spend all that money, making really hard decisions, reviewing lots of applications in a lot of detail, and we did it. And then to kind of set the stage for the next cycle. So most of this board packet is material to reflect on, plus a special project to reflect on, and we'll get there. I can say more later. But I do want to say that this time around, we thought we were doing really well on time, and most of June was still occupied with lots of wrapping up contract details. So it was much more complicated than we expected. So I'm also proposing in this packet some changes to the application system, mild deadline changes that will help us have June be less hectic next year so that we can get those contracts and payments out. We needed for certain things to be done in a time frame, and a lot of people were just not able to meet that. So we're going to change the deadlines a little around that. Anyway, otherwise, that's all I've got, except with the chairperson's permission, I would like to yield to our newest board member, Vicky Nicewander, so that she might introduce herself if you don't already know her.
I think probably a lot of people already do, but I'll entertain that question anyway. I have been actually retired for the past few years from being the executive director of the Illinois Association of Microboards and Cooperatives, which was actually a grantee of the CCDDB for a year or two. Prior to that, I was director of a couple of other statewide grant programs, including one called the Parent and Educator Partnership. And I was a consultant for Project Choices for a number of years. But mainly, I'm a parent. I have a 38-year-old daughter with Down syndrome who lives in her own apartment with the support of home-based support services and has been doing so successfully for, oh gosh, I think we figured 8 years now. And that's going well with, of course, the interruption of COVID, but I do a lot in the area still of person-centered planning, and I host a weekly radio program on disability issues at WEFT Community Radio here in Champaign. So that's kind of me encapsulated. If anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to address them.
And you were a driving force with the Expo for 13, 14, 15 years.
I did work with the Expo for a number of years. When I retired, I kind of retired from everything for it. Well, I take that back. I'm still busy, but that's one thing I stepped back from.
Well, it's great. It's great to have you, Vicky. Thank you so much. That's it for my comments.
Okay.
All right.
Welcome, Vicky.
Yes,
Thanks.
welcome. Very happy to have you.
Well, the next item is approval of last month's meeting minutes. Can I have a motion to approve?
This is Kim. I have a motion to approve last month's minutes as written.
This is Deb. I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, hearing none. Stephanie, would you please do the roll call?
Kim Fisher,
Yes.
Vicky Nicewander,
I don't think I should vote on this since I wasn't present at the meeting,
Okay.
so I abstain.
Deb Rush,
Yes,
Georgiana Schuster,
Yes,
Ann Robin.
Yes. All right, then the next item is also a vote. It is the vendor invoice list on page 8. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion. This is Georgiana. I move that we approve the vendor list.
I'll second the motion, Vicky.
Any discussion? All right, let's do roll call.
Vicky Nicewander,
Yes.
Deb Rush,
yes,
Georgiana Schuster,
Yes,
Kim Fisher,
Yes.
Ann Robin.
Yes. Okay, moving on. New business, election of officers. And I want to report that I actually did read the board bylaws, which are not too hard to read. Thank you for including those. And I note that officers can serve for 3 consecutive years and no more. So I will make just a little comment. Lynn and I talked about it. I am willing to serve as your president for 1 more year. This will be my 3rd year. Neither Lynn or I could remember if it had been 2 or 3 years. So that says something about both of us. And also about this crazy time that we're in where nobody can remember time for anything. Seems like time away from time. But according to the records, I can do it for 1 more year and I'm willing to do that. So I will just say that. So I will open it up for discussion. We have 2 board positions, president and the secretary. The secretary blessedly does not have to take notes. That is done by our very capable Stephanie. And we want to thank you forever for doing that, Stephanie. We really appreciate it. It's very well done. The secretary will serve in the role of the president if the president is not available. The main thing that the president does is run these meetings to the best of their ability and sign off on a lot of things, which thanks to doing electronic signature has become easier over the years. And that's the main duties. So I'll open it up for nominations and discussion.
I just have a question. I don't remember exactly. Do we have to have a motion to discuss the officer elections? Or do we just nominate?
I have no idea.
No, I don't
You
recall
can
either.
just
And I've only been
nominate.
doing this for 9 years, so you know.
You can just nominate it. You can just go straight
Just
into it
nominate?
and do a nomination.
Okay. Well, I would definitely love to just nominate Dr. Robin to continue as our president. You are doing a fabulous job, and I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the way you run the meetings and have conducted yourself as president.
Well, thank you for that. And I am willing to serve 1 more year, which is the limit. So y'all think about who wants to do it this time next year. And I'll be glad to turn it over.
Okay.
do we need a second on that nomination or can we?
I
We do.
believe so.
We do, yes.
Well, I gladly second that nomination. I think if Ann is willing to do it, I am very happy to have her do it.
Any other nominations? Anybody have a burning desire to take over as president?
Been
It's
there,
a
done
Zoom
that.
meeting. You're welcome to speak up.
How about the secretary position? Is anybody interested in that position?
I have done it for, I don't know, sometime. I was assigned to it sometime this past year. And I don't mind doing it. It seems easy enough. So I, if you, I can do it again for another year, if that's okay with you.
Well, I would be more than happy to nominate Georgiana as secretary.
And I'll second.
All right, well, it looks like we have a slate. Is there any further discussion? Okay, so Stephanie, what do? We just say the slate of candidates is Ann Robin as president, Georgiana Schuster as secretary. We'll take a roll call for those who are wanting to vote for those candidates.
Sounds good. Deb Ruche,
Yes.
Georgiana Schuster,
Yes.
Kim Fisher,
Yes.
Vicky Nicewander,
Yes.
Ann Robin.
Yes. All right. Well, we have now accomplished everything that had little stars next to it in the agenda. I know we have one member that needs to leave at 9:30, so we've got almost 20 minutes left for discussion. The other things on the agenda are really for information. They are very informative. They do require some significant amount of reading. And Lynn and I, in our discussion prior to this meeting, Lynn was saying that if members have questions or comments about any of these things, over the next month, month and a half, 2 months would be an excellent time to contact the office, contact Lynn, contact Kim, and discuss any questions or comments or ideas that people have. That would be the best thing to do. Is there anybody that wants to discuss any of these items right now?
No, the only comment I had in particular, I love all the ideas regarding the beginning to use some of the SILA funds that we've set aside. And I briefly mentioned to Lynn that my one concern about this is how we get the word out to interested parties for each of the potential purposes. So yeah, that was my one concern, but I know there's plenty of time to figure that out and work on it. So
Lynn has a comment.
Okay, Lynn.
Is it, I mean, you're having a board discussion, so I just need to get your permission to jump in.
Well,
So
it's sort
this-
of a question to you, so.
okay, I think you did ask me that the other day. I was like, oh yeah, this is really important. So Kim Bowdry and Leon Bryson have already sent that SILA memo out. So it says decision, but it's actually a draft. Really, like everything else in this board packet is a presentation to you of the things we're going to be working on for the next month or two. So anytime you want to have input to these, it's great. We do rely on community input for all this stuff. So they already sent this memo out. They already got someone, caught a few typos that were really confusing. So I deeply appreciated that. But, we're also putting it out there for content, to see if, we're sending it to family members and agencies to see if there are things that like they might be interested in doing that we haven't clarified enough, or, so that's one way that we get the word out, but I think your question is different from that. And I forgot to tell Kim that you had asked about that. So, we may be reaching out to Kim's substantial networks, for not just for input on the document, but to let people know, especially if the timeline is going to work. As I was developing the timeline, I got sort of a sick feeling of like how much work this adds. But these are really straightforward, simple projects that have a lot of potential and meaning if we've expressed them correctly and if anybody is willing to do them. So it could go really well if we get the word out to the right people. So thank you for sharing that. And I'll, that's another thing to put on the list. If you have any suggestions or ideas in the next month or so of how we should get the word out, maybe a shorter, like we always do a notice of funding availability, which is a paragraph that goes in the newspaper and it goes on our website. That could also be shared to networks. It's very simple.
I would imagine RPC might potentially have a pretty important role, if, especially if we're going to do something along the lines of the mini grant project. In other words, providing funding to families, individuals with specific personal needs, that they might have a significant role in that, in developing that. Is that true?
They would be super helpful because they know who exactly is eligible for services and not getting any services.
Right.
And that's
Right.
been, like sometimes people aren't getting services because they don't need much, or they don't see anything that's a good fit, or they haven't been selected yet, or they're just families taking care of everything. So they're not always itching to, often it's a crisis and it's an emergency, but for some people, just reaching out to them and saying, hey, how's it going? What's going on? That's good for the system too. And those guys have that list. But so yeah, and I don't know, like Kim, do you have any thoughts on this? I'm sorry I didn't share this question with you yesterday.
For the specific assistance, when we did the mini grant, we sent the application to everybody that we could find that was enrolled in PUNS without receiving services from one of the other DDB funded programs. So that was one of the ways that we did that outreach, was just we sent the application, it had the application instructions. It wasn't just a complete blind mailing of that, but that was the best way that we knew how to get the word out there. And then we shared the information with the parent support networks and the ISC, but the one stipulation was it had to be a person enrolled in PUNS and not receiving any other services from a DDB funded program or a state funded program. So I think that was the best way to go about it because of the requirements. So if we did this again, my hope is that the ISCs would be interested in helping with this, but I'm not sure. So the best way to reach people is to just put it in the mail and send it out to them and share with the parent support networks and the funded agencies, because they have contacts and people calling and looking for services as well.
Okay, thanks, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question. Have you issued this in a prior year? Has this been through a cycle yet?
Well, we did something. This proposes a few different approaches. One of the approaches we tested in 2019 when we had more money than we spent. So like in July, we try to spend all the money, and then, okay, now we're looking at some extra money. We thought, oh, we've got the rest of 2019 to do something impactful with this money. Let's reach out to people who don't have anything. So it was the mini grant, and we copied some ideas from the CCAMR quarterly mini grant process. But we had to like color within our own lines. And it was going fine, except we are a unit of government with a very poorly defined credit card policy. So that was the first problem. So our tax exempt status was, well, like nonprofits shouldn't be paying taxes either, but that was inhibiting purchases. Our credit card policy was inhibiting purchases. We had no ability to use more credit limit, even though it appeared like we would be able to. So things were going very, very slow on the purchasing side. And then the pandemic came. So that slowed us down in lots of ways, but very importantly, the supply chain problems started to happen. So Kim was even working on purchases as recently as a month ago? Is that, or 2 months ago?
No, we stopped mini grant purchases at the end of 2021. We cut it off.
So we weren't still waiting for something for a person.
We were waiting for something, but that purchase was paid for. They weren't able to get anything else. It was a supply chain issue, but the purchases were ended at the end of at the end of 2020.
Okay.
So yes,
So
we were
how
waiting
many-
on shipping, but otherwise cut off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can ask these questions later. I don't need to take up.
Well,
any
it's
I will just
very
say
relevant.
it was a great, I loved the whole idea of it. I just loved that we would be impacting people on such a personal, you know, individual level, but it was a big undertaking for our staff who have
Yeah.
had plenty of work aside from that to do.
I hear that.
So if there's a way to keep doing something like that and it doesn't overburden our staff as much, and we can iron out all the wrinkles with the, you know, the taxation issue and all that, I'm all for it.
Sounds like you had an overwhelming response, though.
It was very exciting at first. I had, it was like right around Christmas that we were going out to meet people and buying them stuff through this process. It was really nice for us at first. So I think we've learned a lot about the process and all the things that could go wrong. But the other piece is that our attorneys, two attorneys actually, reviewed the statute and think that it would be better to do this through an agency than for us to do it directly, just because of the role that the DD board and the mental health board are supposed to play per statute. So, you know, they read the statute very narrowly. Lots of other 377 and 708 boards do things like this all the time. But, you know, given how awkward it was for us to act as the purchaser, it, you know, when we got that advice, we're like, all right, okay, maybe we do this a different way. So this memo includes that as one of the projects. Some of the other projects would be like, there's one project that also struck us as important. By the way, the mini grant was a suggestion of 2 board members too. It was, I don't know if you remember that meeting, but it was like, they made such a good case for doing this, a really strong case for doing it. Like, this is what we should be doing, is buying people the things that help them be independent instead of relying so much on services. It was the right thing to do at every point. So another right thing to do is trust these small parent support networks to do the community education, community awareness events that they are so good at. But for them, our financial accountability policy has become too much to manage. And some of our reporting requirements are a lot of extra work for them too, as volunteers. So that's also included in these project priorities. As you know, if we waive some of those requirements and we change the structure of the contract, so reimbursing people, reimbursing a support network for the costs associated with these amazing events that they do all year, like that's another way for this money to be very impactful. Anyway, so I think that like each of these is a project that doesn't fit really well within the normal allocation process, and kind of pops out as maybe an alternative, at least worth exploring. So anyway, sorry.
All right, thank you. That was very, very informative, Lynn. Really appreciate that. We've got just a few more minutes before, I don't know if anybody has to leave at 9:30. Shall we go to successes and other agency information? Who wants to go first? Lynn, will you recognize people, please?
Mel has her hand up. Mel from PACE.
Good morning, everybody. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. I just wanted to share something that's really an exciting news that is brewing in the beginning of the fiscal year. We're currently, I have met with ARC of Illinois and Family Matters, and we are currently collaborating together. And the ARC of Illinois has reached out to PACE because we are interested on doing a mini conference in Champaign for the Hispanic community. Yay! And stuff. So I know Kim has received a contact. We are currently in the process. We just met for the very first time, so I'm pretty excited about it. I did secure a venue at the Champaign County Library. It will be October, right now we are reserved at October 27, and it will be from 8:30, actually it will be from 10:30 to 1:30 and stuff. So, but Art of Illinois is coming and Family Matter is coming, and we are gonna do, I have secured 2 rooms, and 1 room will be for the running for the Spanish speaking community, and 1 will be in English. So we're hoping this will be like an occurring event and stuff. This will be our first one and stuff. So hoping to iron out the kinks and stuff, but eventually the next one will be a little bit better, and we continue to improve every time we offer that mini conference. So, but again, it's just brewing. It was our first meeting was in July, so we're gonna meet again and stuff, but definitely save the date. It will be October 27 from 10:30 to 1:30 at the Champaign Library and stuff. So, but yeah, I just wanted to share that with everyone. Exciting news and stuff, new for our community and stuff. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I can pass on the information to Art and Family Matters.
Thank you.
So, Anne, before we go to the next agency success, Georgiana has a question or a comment.
Well, a question. I just am wondering, is this conference that you're going to have, Mel, just informative, telling people what resources there are in the community? Is that the point of it?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am. It is that, because that's why we partnered up with Art of Illinois and Family Matters, because we wanted to reach out to the Hispanic community about the IDD services and stuff that is offered in Champaign that might not be reaching out with that community, and also of course Art of Illinois with their services and stuff. So that's it. It is very informative, and that's why we're inviting the Hispanic community, and then also anyone interested for English speaking community too. So that's why we're doing 2 rooms hand in hand and stuff. So
thank you. Thank you for doing that.
oh, that's pretty exciting. I was so glad I was part of it and stuff. So
Yeah.
And
I just have a comment. That's so great, Mel. Thank you for doing that. I was wondering if there's a need for, the DD board and, to talk about our process. If you feel like that's a opportunity, or if it's better for agencies to, participate in the conference.
So that's a great question, because again, it is the first year and stuff. So I sent, Rocio has sent some information to Kim and stuff. Again, we're meeting again next month and stuff. But I think we wanted to see if there's any flyers that we could share with the community and stuff. It's kind of like our thoughts right now. But again, it is from 10:30 to 1:30. We're thinking of showcasing some services that is for that community. Maybe 15-20 minutes a representative could talk and stuff. So I'm one of those people that would talk. So, but yeah, but we are trying to figure out. Again, it is the first one. So, but flyers would be helpful for the community. If anyone's really interested of speaking, I could present that to the meeting next month and stuff. So again, any information that you would think might be benefiting with that community, I'll be happy to present it with the group and stuff, or if you have any materials that you would like to share during that event, we could also put it out for everyone to share to that community.
so the next speaker, Annette Becker from DSC.
Good morning. I just wanted to share that the employer registry was launched about 3 weeks ago, and Maggie Baker from DSC, Ashley Withers from Community Choices have gone on a media blitz. On TV, they were most recently on CI Living and Community Counts from WCIA. They were on Disability Beat. and Mix 94.5, their focus segment. So we're really trying to get the word out to employers. They're also now visiting individual employers and talking to them about the registry, sharing the pamphlet and the process. We're also trying to get the word out to community members with disabilities who are looking for jobs. A shout out to Kim Bowdry for getting the word out for that. They're also looking at training resources that can be accessible to employers as they look at how they can be more disability aware in their hiring practices. So we're really pretty excited about the launch, and we'll keep you posted.
So this is Kim Fisher. I just want to say, so I watched and listened to the media blitzes. It was great. So congratulations to both DSC and Community Choices. It can't just randomly came up on my feed, Facebook feed. So that's how I had heard about it. So congratulations. It was very exciting.
Great. Thank you.
You did a great job on the 2 spots.
Thank you.
All right, that was great. Do we have another person that wants to present?
I don't see anyone with their hand up.
Usually Community Choices is right there.
Yeah, I don't see one. I'm going to put something into the chat. This is not agency input, but I'll explain it later. I'm putting it in the chat. So it's an expo meeting today. So I put the link to it in there. Okay.
Now, what time is that meeting?
That's at 11. This is, well, I'm going to just go off the agenda. I shouldn't do this, but just, I thought if anybody on this call is interested in joining this conversation, they have a lot of difficult issues to get through today. I think more input is probably going to help them a lot. So anyway, I just thought to put it in there.
Lynn, I think it was in Kim's notes, so it's not totally off the packet.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Well, this is the link to the meeting, and it is open to you all to come. The community voice and the board member voice, very welcome.
Thank you for that, Lynn. All right, any other successes or agency information? Okay, well, Georgiana has left. The old business is really informational. Lynn, do you have anything to say about CCMHB at this time?
Well, I want to put the schedule up to see
Okay.
if y'all are okay with canceling the August 17th meeting. I mean, we can have it or not have it. So.
I think it would be okay to not have the meeting. Everybody can read materials as they come through, and staff are available to talk about things, and then we'll be ready to go in September for a lot more decision making.
Okay, cool, thank you. So for CCMHB input, they meet this evening. They have a similar agenda. They did elections last month, and they don't usually meet in August, but because of the timing of appointment of new members, it's less. I like to keep that August meeting for the DDB just in case the new member would value that, or if there's business that's carrying over. But we have such a seasoned new member, and she has our email addresses and can give us plenty of input on these things. The mental health board is actually looking at the same SILA memo draft that you have, exactly the same, because you share authority over that fund. And I don't think they have any business other than that's in addition to the things that are in here. So I might be wrong, but yeah. Anyway.
Okay, thank you. Also, as always, thanks for the very informative staff reports. It's very interesting to see what everybody's been doing, very impressive. And I do feel like I'm more connected with the community when I read these staff reports. So thank you very much for that. And I guess in relation to staff, and it's not exactly old business, but one of the things that the two presidents of the boards have to do is a semi-annual, not semi-annual, biannual, every 2-year review evaluation for our executive director, Lynn Canfield. So John and I were able to get together this last week and it filled that out. And he told me he has dropped it off at the office and all I have to do is come over and sign it and that will be available. And we thank Lynn very much for all of her great work. And I think the evaluation reflects our great esteem for the work that you've done over the last years and specifically the last 2 years.
Thank you. I wanted you to know I've read the evaluation and I was going to tell the rest of the team that their staff reports are mentioned in my evaluation.
Yeah.
So we're going to share the love here.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Are there any board announcements?
So, Dr. Robin, I just have a couple questions about the staff notes. So the first question I had was, there was just a discussion about the audits for some agencies and delaying payment or delayed signing contracts. So I think maybe this isn't, is the audit just like a once a year thing? So maybe I might have missed that. So I just wanted to, if that's the case, clarify this is like normal procedures and nothing that we need to worry about.
Well,
yeah.
No, there are things to worry about. The DD agencies submitted their audits timely and very few issues to worry about. We're giving some feedback. We send all the audits to a consultant who tells us about any concerns that he's a CPA also. So he might have concerns about the auditor or some of the findings. He's presented solutions to findings, which Kim Bowdry and Leon Bryson and I decided we would share those suggestions to the agencies this year in case they're helpful. It's not a requirement, but so the DD agencies are fine, but there are fewer and fewer CPA firms doing nonprofit audits in this community. So for some of the small mental health board agencies, there's a real crisis here. We're looking at the greater region. As long as someone is licensed in Illinois, they can perform an audit for one of these agencies. So there's a firm in Wisconsin that does some. So that's one thing that has made so many audits late, is just CPA capacity. And then another is we're asking agencies to show us, their correspondence with a CPA firm that they've secured an audit. And again, this is not relevant to the DD agencies. It is to the mental health agencies. And the CPAs don't like to do that. So here we've added a requirement that just makes puts the agencies in a tough position. So you are right. There are things to be concerned about, but happily they're not pressing on the DD agencies. And we rely on those audits for a lot of stuff. Like, we're responsible to make sure that this public trust fund is spent within the fairly narrow parameters of the law. So for purposes that are described by law and according to the priorities that emerge from assessment with citizen input. So like if money isn't spent, we want it to come back to the fund so that it can be spent again. But we don't ask for that based on the financial reports that agencies submit to us at the end of the year. We get a pretty good idea about it, but we wait for the audit because the audit will often change that end result using, maybe information that was missing at the time the report was due or finding something else. So we tend to wait a long time to ask for the unspent funds back. So this is why when a PY21 audit PY21 ended over a year ago, isn't finished yet. Creates some problems for like our budget years with confidence with moving forward with an agency, that kind of thing. But I'm actually glad you brought it up, because that is one of the things that occupied quite a bit of staff time. Like, we do not want the rules to cause harm or to put providers out of business. But some of the rules we don't have a lot of control over. So we're trying to, what kind of supports can we provide? You know, that's it.
Thank you for clarifying that. That makes a lot of sense. And it's just too bad, because there are really good organizations doing really wonderful things. And just to see that they're, you know, that it's struggling is concerning. And then the other question I had was that the evaluators one is retiring, the evaluation project is like ceasing. And then because one is professor's retiring, one's going to Vanderbilt. So, and they're going to, so are we done with the evaluation project?
They'll give us a report in September.
Okay.
They were going to just report on this last year. And then I asked, you know, could you do a wrap up of the whole project? And they said, well, that's not in our contract, but we'll think about it. And I thought that would be so valuable to me, because if we're going to find another organization, like maybe it's other researchers at the U of I or at ISU who could continue to do this work in a similar way, a wrap-up report would be a great place to start. Kim and Leon and I have met with a professor from the U of I who does this kind of work, who's interested, maybe. And we're going to meet with her again. I can't remember if we actually set up a time. Is it next week? So, you know, I don't want to give up on the idea of providing this kind of support to the agencies, but we have to look at what should the next iteration be. And unfortunately, they weren't ready. The current group wasn't ready to report to y'all until September.
Okay.
So
Thank you for that information. Yeah, because I mean, the agencies just last month, I think it was Community Choices, talked about how helpful that process has been for them. The agencies repeatedly said that. And I thought I read, and I don't know if it was Kim or Leon's report, like that they have resources that they're sharing. So I know that they have trainings and materials and things like that. Are they leaving that somewhere for the agencies so that, you know, agencies can continue that? That would be really, you know, maybe help. I don't know, maybe it would be helpful to agencies. I don't know.
I mean, we could, like, if we could keep it for a year or two and find out if it's helpful, that would be great. I'm revamping the application instructions. We have an intern who's a PhD English student who looked at all of our instructions and our application materials and gave me quite a bit of feedback. So I'm revamping the instructions with her input and some agency input, and we're redoing a bunch of the application system too. So I got to that section and I was like, I want to keep that consultation bank. So thank you for saying that. Thank you for that direction. You know, if that means a miniature contract with them for the next 2 years, I think it would be good just to find out if the agencies value it. And like you said, they've developed some workshops. Like, is there a way we can hold on to that? So
yeah, if the agencies find that it would be helpful for them, you know, there's no reason to do extra work if it's not, but they seem to say that it was helpful, at least Community Choices, I think. Yeah. Thanks so much, Lynn. That's all my questions. Thank you.
All right. Well, is there any more comments or questions before we adjourn the meeting?
I have just one thing that I haven't heard mentioned during this. I don't know if you're aware that the Liggis project, the state of Illinois has sent out invitations numbering almost 1,300 to people who are on the PUNS list to apply for funding. And even more exciting than that, really, to me, is that they have sent out invitations for people to get funding through the Children's Waiver Program, which has not happened in 12 years. So those invitations are going out this week, I understand.
Well,
Okay, thank you for that. Any other announcements or comments? All right, everybody have a good 2 months. Stay in touch. Use the phone, use email, read everything. Stay well, and we'll see you in September.
Thanks.
Thank you all,
Bye.
especially thank you, Lynn and staff.
Yes, yes, I concur.